Welcome to Cory's Conscious Living. Are we ready to meditate with Cory? Lay down and get comfortable. I want to tell you all about the latest news on Heidi and Cherry. You would not believe what those guys have been up to. First, make sure everything's right in your room, your light's just right, you're comfortable in bed and your covers feel just right. And you're laid as still as you can so that you can listen to the story. Are we ready? Heidi and Cherry got to China, finally. It took a long, long flight, over 25 hours in total, here and there on different flights to get to where they were going to. By the time they got there, everyone was very tired. They made it to their new apartment. They lived in an apartment in China. There are so many people in China. Did you know that? So many. Apartments are very popular, and the apartment that they moved into was very small. It wasn't that big at all, so they didn't have any garden. They lived in a small apartment, and it was very different. But to be honest, for the first few days that they were there, everybody just slept. They tried to catch up with all of the sleep that they missed for such a long journey. And then, after a couple of days, they started to become accustomed to their new place in the world. Heidi was just taking things in her stride. It didn't take very long to learn where everything was in the new apartment. There was 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a living room, and a kitchen that was attached to the living room, so it was all open. And that was it. Cherry, on the other hand, once she discovered the bathroom, spent very little time anywhere else in the apartment. This is what happened. Cherry said to Heidi, "Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Have you seen this toilet? Oh my gosh! It just opened up all on its own. I didn't even touch it, and the top came up like it knew I was there. It was crazy. Watch! She made Heidi watch from the doorway. Heidi was stood watching, and Cherry moved out of the bathroom, and the lid on the toilet went down very slowly, all on its own. And then she went back into the bathroom, and the lid came up very slowly, all on its own. Cherry was like, "I don't believe it! It's like the toilet's a ghost or something, and he knows we're here! It's alive! It's crazy!" Heidi said, "I've heard about this, Cherry, don't worry. I think it's a remote control toilet. They're very popular here in China." Remote control toilet? How'd you get a remote control toilet? Oh, that must be what all of those buttons are for. Look at all the buttons, Heidi. Oh my goodness, there's so many buttons. What do they do? And with that, she jumped onto the toilet seat and started pawing at all the different buttons. The toilet was going crazy. Did you know that the toilet was actually massaging Cherry's bottom? Oh my gosh! It wiggles and moves and it massages your bottom! Heidi, get on the toilet and feel it! Heidi couldn't help herself. She jumped up on the toilet seat and sat there with Cherry for a few minutes, and they both experienced being jiggled around all over the place with a very warm cat bum. Oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever! Wait till I tell everyone back home. Wait until everyone finds out about this. They're gonna be so I am not using my cat litter box anymore. This is my toilet from now on, said Cherry. She was super excited. She pressed another button and water squirted out of the toilet in a couple of different directions. Not just one squirt, it squirted in 3 different directions. Frightened them both out of their skins. They both jumped up, squeaking, squawking, and landed on the floor. And Cherry was like, "What on earth was that?" It's a bath! It washes all your bits and bobs at the same time? This is just too far out. I cannot believe how cool this thing is. Heidi, it washes your bum! It's amazing! She jumped back on the toilet seat and pressed the squirty water button again, and it squirted all over her back, all over her head, and squirted all over the back of her legs and her hiney, and she was like, "I don't believe it! I don't believe it!" Somehow she pressed another button and a blow dryer, yes, a blow dryer came on and started to blow all her fur dry. All she did was just sat there with a little mouth open, staring at Heidi that was now on the bathroom floor, never going near that toilet again after the scary water spray episode. She watched Cherry, and Cherry just was sat there with her mouth open in complete shock. She had realised not only can she go to the toilet on this thing, she can be massaged, it warms her hiney, it washes her hiney, and it blow dries her hiney. She looked at Heidi, finally pulling herself back together, becoming composed once again, well, as composed as Cherry could be, and she went, "How cool is this? This is the coolest thing on the planet! I love China. I love this new apartment. I love everything about this place. I'm never leaving this place. I'm never coming out of this bathroom." It was actually true. She was in there for days. She loved that toilet. Heidi was getting a little bit lonely on the rest of the apartment all on her own. Sometimes Cherry would come out, and they happened to meet their neighbours. Their owners were in the hallway collecting their mail and pulling furniture around and putting it outside in the hallway and rearranging things how they wanted them and pulling things back in. And while they were doing all of that, Heidi and Cherry kind of sat in the doorway of their apartment just watching. They watched people walk by, and everybody looked very different. And they heard people talking, and the people talked very different. They talked in a language that Heidi and Cherry didn't really understand the words. But it was okay. They knew that they'd only just got there, and it would probably take time, and eventually they would understand the way that people were talking here in China. As they sat there in the hallway, in the doorway to the apartment, the next door neighbours to the left opened their door, and a very friendly lady came out holding a cat. It was a blonde cat, and she looked quite young, and her name was Sophie. "This is Sophie. What are your cats called?" Heidi automatically looked up and said Heidi, but really she just purred. Meow. And then Cherry started spinning in circles as if she was chasing her own tail, jumping around. Another cat! Another cat! Yay! A friend! Yay! But to the lady, Cherry looked like she was just spinning in circles and meowing. Meow, meow, meow. But Sophie totally understood what Cherry was saying. Hey, you don't realize how lonely I have been in this place. I think you guys are the first cats I have seen in over a year. Over a year. Not one single cat. I'm so excited. I like to do fun things, lots of fun things, said Sophie. I like fun. Fun is my favorite thing in the entire world. Heidi said, oh, I think you and Cherry will probably get along very well. And Cherry said, have you been on the toilet yet? Did you go on your toilet? They're amazing. They're like the bestest thing ever. I can't believe I don't use my cat litter box anymore. All I do is go on the toilet. It's like my bestest friend. Have you been on your toilet? Sophie said, I like fun things, but I'd rather not go on that toilet. I think it's a little bit scary, especially when it washes your hiney. I don't think I like that very much. Heidi said, neither do I. And Cherry said, oh, that's the bestest part. It's like being outside in the rain. And then you get blow dried and it's like, oh my goodness, the coolest thing ever. And you feel all clean and dry. Oh, how could you not like that, Sophie? I thought you were fun. Sophie said, I am fun, but I just don't like that. But I'm willing to do lots of other fun things with you when we get the chance. Then, another time, they met their next-door neighbors to the right. The next-door neighbors to the right was a very nice gentleman. He was only young. He looked like he was about maybe 25 or so. And he was single and he lived on his own. And his name was Zen. And he was really nice and friendly. Heidi and Cherry really didn't understand a word they were saying when he was talking to their owners, but their owners had learned some Chinese over the months that they knew that they were going to move there, and they were kind of prepared. Not a lot of Chinese, but they knew some of the language, enough to get by. So they were talking to their new neighbor, Zen, that was very nice, and they were saying things back and forward. And that's when Heidi and Cherry realized that really everyone speaks the same language to a certain degree. They realized that if you watch people's body language, meaning the way that they move and the way that they kind of hold their body, and also if you listen to the tone, that means how a person talks and what they sound like. If you listen to the tone of someone's voice, then you can kind of get the feeling of whether they're nice or not. It's like an energy that a person has in their body and their voice. And Heidi and Cherry realized that's the same, probably, all over the world. So if you're a nice person, you probably feel nice and sound nice and look nice without even speaking. So they knew already that they really liked Zen. They thought he was nice, even like I said, that they didn't understand a word that he was saying. But what was really cool about Zen was he had puppies, 5 of them. They were teacup puppies, tiny little things. Mitch, Matt, Freddie, Nevie, and Rocky. They were unbelievably cute. And at this time, they hadn't got to know them very well, but they were very excited to get to know Mitch, Mac, Freddie, Nevie, and Rocky. They were very excited about it. So they had Sophie, the blonde little cat, on the left, and they had 5 puppies on the right. They figured, even though that they were in an apartment and they didn't have a garden, they could probably, if their owners were all okay with it, have a lot of fun on this corridor in the apartment complex that they were living in. Maybe the puppies liked the toilet just like Cherry. That's what she was hoping anyway. It was a really good start to their new place and their new life. It was very, very different. Ooh, and Heidi, she discovered a new favorite food. Noodles. Noodles that went on for miles and miles and miles. She would sit with a bowl of noodles and suck on one end and just keep sucking. And just keep sucking. And the noodles were like 2, 3, 4 miles long. That's what it felt like to Heidi. And they were flavored so good. She loved the Chinese food. The noodles especially were her favorite. Sometimes Cherry would sit at the other end of a noodle and they'd together and have a lot of fun doing that. Heidi really, really liked the noodles. But of course, Cherry's favorite thing was the toilet. It was her most favorite thing in the world. And she was never moving back to the States. Not without a toilet like that coming with them. So, that's how Heidi and Cherry are doing so far. I think it's time for you to settle down and go to sleep. What do you say? Make sure that you're comfortable. Close your eyes if you didn't do so already. Let's get comfy. It's time to let your body relax. Let your head get soft in your pillow. Your shoulders get heavy and relaxed, and just start to focus on your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Time to let your body slow down and relax. Focus on your chest. Take a nice deep breath and let your chest soften and relax into your bed. Notice every time you breathe out, your body gets softer and more comfortable and just a little bit sleepier. Let your back get heavy and sleepy, your hips and your legs. Imagine your legs after being running and playing all day long, how tired and heavy they would feel. How it feels really nice to just let your legs be still and sleepy and quiet. You can roll over onto your side if you want to. Snuggle up, bring your knees up, and snuggle into your pillow or your teddy. Make sure that you're laying in the most comfortable position for you. Your entire body relax. Let your toes and your feet and your ankles relax. Time to let yourself start to fall to sleep.